Today we'll be doing a side-by-side comparison of these three grinders. This is the made by Knock Aergrind. This is the Baratza Encore. This Baratza Encore looks a little different. I modded it. You can see that in a different video. And this is the Breville Smart Grinder Pro. So first off, I do want to say please subscribe, and if you want any of these products at the end of the video and you found this helpful, please purchase it with one of my affiliate links. These affiliate links give me a little bit of commission on anything that you buy from the website, but it does not charge you any extra. So by subscribing and purchasing through my links, it helps me continue to produce videos and content that can hopefully be helpful to you. So first off, I chose these three grinders because this is what I have, and this one runs about 160, the Aergrind made by Knock. This one runs about 140 retail. The Baratza Encore, this one, the Breville Smart Grinder Pro, runs about 200 retail, but you can find it cheaper on Amazon here and there. This one now comes in white or black. This one is always black, and this one is red or cranberry, I believe they call it, a stainless steel model, or this black model. So I want to go through a few different features of all of them. First off, I want to start with the fact that these are close and they're great grinders, any one of them that you buy. But starting off with the Baratza Encore, one of the best things about this grinder is it does very, very well on any coarser range. If you're looking to do French press, if you're looking to do cold brew, if you're doing pour overs, this grinder is going to be great. If you are doing espresso, you should not get this grinder. This will not give you enough adjustments. If you are looking to do espresso, this one's the better one to go. But starting off with some of the features is on the Baratza Encore, you will have this removable hopper, which just clicks on the side with 40 different grind settings, and it just pops off simple there. Got a burr in there, easy to work on, easy to take apart, and easy to repair. On the side right here, there'll normally be a on and off switch. It's a plastic switch that you just switch back and forth, and it can turn it on and it will continue grinding, and will grind as long as you want it to until you turn it off. I did move that switch to be up here, so you just flip it and turn it on and off there. Right here on the center there is a pulse button, so you can just pulse the grinder so it won't continue to grind. Sliding off here is a simple where all the grinds go. There are some retention here, so you will have to knock on the top of it to knock out the rest of the grounds. The cable does not go all the way, it does not wrap anywhere around on this grinder. This Breville Smart Grinder right here it has a nice little dial on the side to change the grind settings. It has 60 grind settings, but on the inside of the hopper there is a little thing where you can switch it between 1 and 10, so you have roughly 600 grind settings, 60 easy to adjust, and about 10 that are kind of a pain in the butt to adjust. So you can basically change the setting whether you want to dial in for espresso or go toward the drip coffee. It comes with this little bin to store coffee, to grind coffee into, as well as magnetic portafilter holders that you can put on right there, and you can just clip a portafilter in there and click the start and stop button with your portafilter. It's got a little magnetic tray here, comes with a brush, and some instructions on how to clean and care for it, and that just magnets back inside. This is a sealed grind hopper, which the benefit of that is it will keep your beans fresher. You can lock it off, and it locks the beans in there so you can interchange the beans easier. There'll still be some retention in the top there. You can see right there where you can align and adjust the burr to make it different. So they both have a little bit of different features. This one also has a cable underneath that wraps underneath. I'm trying not to spill grounds on it. That just wraps underneath, and you can put it wherever. You can shorten it however you want to. However, the plug on the Baratza is way better than the plug on the Breville because this just takes up a lot more space. to kind of plug in with multiple other things, but it does have this nice little thing to put your finger in to pull it out, but that's really kind of unnecessary. The benefit to these is, versus obviously this one you have to do manually. You just simply pull out your little handle here, put it on, it only goes on one spot, and you can hold the cap to adjust the grind settings, and then you just spin it and pull out this. I did break the bottom of it. I dropped it a few times, and all the grounds go out through this. All of these have great burrs. All these are going to be great starts. The value is really here in all of the grinders. They all have their pros and cons. The pro to this is going to break less than any other one. It's manual, so it does take a lot of more work, but I think you get better grinds in every setting on this Aergrind than either one of these other grinders. The downside is it does take about 60 seconds to grind an 18-gram shot of espresso. It will work for pour over, it will work for French press, and it has a lot of benefits to that. It can only hold a certain amount of beans in this hopper, so that's a drawback. But you don't ever have to worry about breaking things really on this, well, outside of that, but you don't have to worry about any electrical problems going with it. And you will always get better results with this, but you are having to manually grind, which if you're doing a batch of cold brew, if you're doing a lot of shots of espresso, if you are regularly doing pour overs, it can be a pain in the it's a pain in the butt to use a hand grinder, to be blunt about it. This thing excels super well. One of the huge things about Baratza that makes me a fan is their customer service is phenomenal. If you reach out to them, this thing is meant to be fixed and meant to be serviced. The response time for Baratza is super fast, super easy. I've never had any problems with customer service of them. And then you have Breville on this other hand. This thing has broken a lot more than my Encore. Customer service takes forever. They usually do help you out, but it takes forever. This thing is not meant to come apart very easily, is not meant to be worked on. This is kind of a thing that can have problems and you could be sunk, versus Baratza's motto is don't dump it, fix it. And they hold true to that. However, the Breville does out of these two grinders, out of the two electric, I think the Breville does a better job. You cannot do French press, you cannot do cold brew with it, but it does very well at drip. It does decent at espresso. You can get by if you buy a flare and use this thing and it will work well. This, however, cannot do espresso, and it has some more fines in the cold brew setting, or cold brew setting in French press, but it does very well at pour over. A lot of people really love it. I love how this one has the start button. So this basically goes by a timer. You kind of set the grind amount with this little dial, and it's based off of seconds. And you can have presets based off of how many cups of coffee you want. I usually pre-weigh my beans before everything, so it's not like the hopper is sitting in there. So this has a nice feature where it will automatically stop. Like you can set it to a couple seconds afterwards and it will just grind straight through and automatically shut off. Versus this one, you do have to turn the switch on the side here. This, however, is upgradable. You can see my other video of it. I upgraded the burr set to the M2 burr set, which is, if you buy a new grinder, it's $35, I think, to do that upgrade, but it would cost $55 to do the outer burr, so they wear at the same rate, which is what I would recommend doing. So for $55, you can make it grind a lot better to bring it up to the $250 Virtuoso. So there's a lot of pros and cons to it. This one's gonna, again, excel better in espresso, but not do that very, very coarse stuff. And it's just a little bit more convenient to use. It's a lot quieter. It's a lot more functional, and I love how it stops grinding for you versus this one does not. And it just looks nice. I would prefer this grinder for the value of the grind and how well it does. But if I'm only doing pour over and not espresso, and I never plan to ever dabble in that, I would get this. I would get this because of the customer service, because I know it will last me a long time. I get nervous every time I use this thing of when the last day is going to be with this. I actually had to return one entirely to fix it. The Encore I bought used, and it's still going well, and it's going to go to somebody else too once I get rid of it. So if you want an all-around grinder, the Breville's the way to go. This is the one that I have sitting at my office, so I can pull shots of espresso with it. I can do pour-overs with it. It kind of gets me around, and it does everything okay. It's not going to excel in pour-overs. It's not going to excel in espresso. It is a $200 grinder, so you're going to have your lacking. This one is really good for $140, is going to get the job done. This is the one I would probably lean toward if you're going to do pour overs, if you never plan on getting an espresso, especially because you're saving $60. You can upgrade the burr later, and the customer service is phenomenal. If you're willing to do the manual route, I would highly recommend going with the Aergrind. It fits into the AeroPress. I can pull shots of espresso that taste great with it. I can make cold brew, I can make pour overs, but it does take time and it does take effort. But in my eyes, it's worth it in the long run, and it's kind of a nice enjoyment thing. But if I'm making coffee for a lot of other people, the Breville's great, the Baratza's great. I did pull 17 shots of espresso back to back with the Breville, and it held up through it, and it did all right. It didn't overheat. But all of these grinders are going to be great, and I hope you found this video to be helpful. I hope you will buy one of these grinders and continue growing in coffee. If you have any questions about any of these grinders, I would love to help you out. I'd love to answer those. Just shoot me a message, and I will try and get back to you as quick as possible. But again, if you found this video helpful, please support me by subscribing. And if you're looking at purchasing one of the grinders, please use my affiliate link where I will get a little bit of commission at no cost to you. So please continue to support me in these videos so I can continue to produce content. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I would